Hey guys, welcome back. I'm Tom Black, musician, drummer, and yes, it pretty much is a drum lesson today. Yeah, you got me. So in this drum lesson, we're pretty much talking about two different things, but in the same video. So in this lesson, we are talking about orchestration and doubles and all that. So we're pretty much talking about both things because I want to show you how to apply orchestration on the drum set with other rudiments. So I kind of demonstrated other rudiments in a previous video I did, but I didn't talk about orchestration and all these levels that I'm going to mention. So let's get into it. So there are 4 levels, in my opinion, about the drums, orchestration on the drums. So the first level is just playing on one voice. And this is just a very basic level, and it's okay to play on one voice. Most people do play on one voice because it feels like you're at home. And it's just like playing like your chords and all that on a piano, where you play C major, then you play the 4 chord, which is F major, and then you go back home. It's like, oh, it's nice to feel it back at home. And so that's what it kind of feels like and all that with these orchestration. Because it's pretty much like playing chords, except it's totally different. So that's just playing with one voice. And one voice is like pretty much, this is an example. So just like this one idea of just playing on one voice. You can do it on any drum and all that with this concept. So the next level is level 2. And that is pretty much doing 2 voices. And so you have one voice on one hand and a different voice on the other. And so this is expanding a little bit, but it's kind of still feels like level 1 because you're not moving your hands at all. All you're doing is, like, for example, you might be just doing this. Or you might be doing this. So this is level 2, and you level 2, and you start to see that where I'm coming from, that it is kind of the same as level 1, where you're really not moving at all. You're just having a dislocation with the voices, where it's like it's not here, but it's right here, but you're still doing the same movements, and so it's isolated. It is just stagnant. So that's a bad word to say, stagnant. Not a positive word, I would say. I would replace that with a positive word instead of stagnant, but I can't think of one right now. So the third level, you might guess, what is the third level? Science. Okay, so the third level is pretty much 3 or more voices. So with this concept, this is a pretty cliche idea that I'm going to show you. This is pretty much some drum teachers probably showed you this already. And so it's pretty much like you have this pattern. Maybe you're doing this pattern, which is a cliche pattern. And so now you're thinking, Todd, you just did singles. Like, well, come on, what are you trying to do? And all that. I'm going to doublize it. So if there's like an interesting pattern that you're doing, like if you're doing that pattern, you could doublize it. So if you have a pattern like the one I was showing, the first one, then doubleizing is a pretty cool thing to do. Like if you're just like messing around, you could doubleize something. So this is kind of like the third level that you're doing, which is that you're actually moving a little bit more. And this is a pretty cool thing to do. Now, the next level, which is a level I've been messing around with, and this is actually moving your musical hand more, your leading hand a lot more. And your leading hand is pretty much the hand you lead most of the time, like you might be keeping time, and this is your musical hand. And this comes from a jazz perspective, because your musical hand is your voice. Like if you're writing on the right cymbal, that's your musical hand. Now this is just to kind of expand a little bit on your musical hand by playing it on the drums. So here's an exercise I made and all that. It's right down below. And this is an exercise I've been messing around with. and it's actually, it helps you go between the rudiments and be able to play on different voices. And this kind of explains a little bit about the other video I was doing, where it's like I am going from voice to voice, different voice, while anchoring my left hand. Now, to me, there is a fifth level and all that. That would be actually using your left hand for these voices. So, first of all, I'm going to show you this exercise. So, right. And so up the tempo, well, it depends on the speed of music. It could be something like this. And you can do that with any voice. You could probably do it with. That's a cool thing. Or you might do it with a cliche thing with the floor tom and all that. So this is a lot of great stuff. So if you're like doing a beat and all that, and then just mess around with that, whether you're doing it like slow or fast, it has some interesting syncopation when you're doing this, because you're not just doing like isolating with one voice. You're actually kind of like doing this. Or you might do it the other way with your doubles. So this is an essential thing to realize with displacement with these orchestrations. You're displacing this for this. So this is a really cool thing to talk about. So, and there might be a fifth level where it's like you have two musical lead voices, and so you might be for your doubles, you might do this. So that's pretty cool. I just made that up on the spot. That wasn't planned. But I'm a jazz musician. I got a degree that proves that I'm really good at improvising. So this is pretty much the lesson. Expanding on doubles, like where can I go? What is the top level of doing these doubles? And this is my top level that I know as of this moment, is actually using two lead voices and just messing around with the doubles, and not just using your wrists and all that, but also use your fingers, strengthen those fingers up and all that. So with this, I'm just pretty much going to end it right here and all that. The video, not me, the video. And that's pretty much it. Tell me what you think about this. What are some cool exercises that you know that might help you out with like orchestration wise? I'm curious if you all have came across this idea or not during your venture on the tube. Yeah, that's right. So I'm Todd Blackman, your son drummer, and I'll see you in the next one.